or whatever, we say, oh, I can't believe they lied to their people that way. We can't believe that Saddam Hussein has a minister of disinformation, but we have one too.
Yeah.
We have an entire media that's about disinformation, and we have a caller too. Hello, caller. What do you think about all this disinformation?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. This is Bill K.
Yes.
Hey, Bill.
I think that every establishment is reactionary, because I'm going to tell you why. They're revolutionaries until they get power. They're going to change things, right? When they get power, the first thing they tell everybody is obey the law. Who makes the law? They do. That's part of our human history, is the idea that hypocrisy is embedded. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they've experimented with drugs, with atomic weapons before anybody pretty much knew who this stuff was. They're doing stuff right now that is incredible. I mean, we don't know some of it. So therefore, what you statement holds very true and valid. You have to be from Missouri. You have to trust to a very limited degree and verify. As far as these plantation politicians go, they're at the bottom. They just want a job. Let's face it. These mayors, these governors, they just want a job. You know, they want to be big shots. You know, they want to be fawned upon. They want to be called upon by the news media for a statement now and then. They live in their own world. And like you said, they don't want progress because it interferes with them having their job. Why should Fauci at 82 or 80-20, whatever he is, care about public health? Okay, he's been a bureaucrat for what, 54 years? What do you think he got in the government service for? To help the people or to get a job? Let's face it. You know, if you're innovative, they will call you radical, communist, socialist, crazy. You know, they have a lot of words for you. Like you said, the popular word when you get put down is gaslighting. In the old days, they just come out and say you were crazy, or, you know, the communists control you or something like that. But I'm glad you bring this stuff up, because there's stuff being worked on that's unbelievable. And it's done by flesh and blood people. Science is evolving. We're very new at modern science, about 150 years old. And you do have people in the scientific establishment like Trump who believe they're the chosen ones too. They just because they're scientists don't mean they're not sociopaths or egomaniacs. There's no, just because you're really good at something in terms of Western scientific methods, that don't mean that actually genetically and for your own personal proclivity, you aren't a person that believes they're better than everybody. And that's part of the problem, because we're looking to flesh and blood people like ourselves for daily guidance on everything, not just on a few things. And you point out, you know, you can get rid of these mayors and governors, councils, all these other people. They're just window dressing, okay? They're there, they have a job, and they give us an illusion of popular government. I mean, you know, everybody wants. When I was a kid, I did believe in Santa Claus for a while, so I seen my dad and mom put a present under the tree. I mean, I want to believe in nice things too. The only problem is we're dealing with human progress, and many people have progressed. Many haven't. That's the struggle of history. You have two forces. You have a dynamic and a counter dynamic. And most of these bureaucrats are going to stand in the way of it. Maybe if you actually believe in their heart they're doing the right thing. Most of them, let's face it, gentlemen, they believe in their job, their pension, their perks, prerogatives, and preferential treatment, and a lot of them are stuck on themselves. So in terms of the regular people, we have never, I don't think in the history of the world, we've ever seen a true lasting government from the bottom up. Every government that's controlled this planet's been top down. You know, Julius Caesar put it really well. He said, we fought the Roman Republic. I crossed the Rubicon with the armies, which I wasn't supposed to. I put military forces in Rome, and I overthrew the old republic. And we were fighters and revolutionaries. And then when he and his group got into power after he was assassinated, then they become the establishment. And they become the people that tell you to respect rules, regulations, law, and order. And that's what we're dealing with. See, you're bringing up stuff on the shows that need to be brought up. That namely, we are evolving. We haven't gotten there yet. And mistakes are being made. Some are genuinely just missteps. Others are calculated. I don't believe in a worldwide conspiracy, because you can't get enough egomaniacs on the same page to make it happen. Because there's always somebody that's going to be counter to what the group wants. So that's really pretty much impossible to have a well-coordinated, forever historical conspiracy. But throughout history, you have situations, and he's explaining about the history of the pandemic. It's going to be really interesting because the internet did give us the opportunity to give information out all over the world. It's going to be very engaging to start digging that this is a detective story. Where, who, what, when, where, the old Sherlock Holmes. Who did it? Deductive reasoning, intuitive reasoning, and Charlie Chan, all that old stuff. And it's coming to light right now. And I really believe in the end that truth is going to will out. But again, people like Fauci are an example of a decaying bureaucracy.
Yep.
I mean, what are you getting in bureaucracy in the late 60s? I mean, that's when I'm getting out of high school. He got into bureaucracy. Why do we keep these people around forever? I mean, they
like working in that safe environment.
Well, yeah.
While other people, the I guess you could call them the risk takers, they would rather work in the private sector and try to make their mark and gain fame and fortune that way. Whereas the government worker, he's less interested in fame and fortune. They likes fame. They want to be famous, but they want security more than fortune.
Mm.
Well, they also want respect too, without having it earned. See, Fauci has been merchandised to us as an icon, and that was wrong to begin with. He's an old school bureaucrat that has a job in the government, and he rose through the ranks of attrition and maybe good politics. Maybe he double-crossed somebody in the right place or kissed some boss's butt or whatever, how he got to where he is. But the thing is, he's been sold to us as an icon, and he's not. He's an old man like I am, about 10 years older than me, a little bit even more than that. And he's an old guy that's been a bureaucrat, and that's what he knows how to be. And to listen to him is to listen to double talk. He doesn't really want you to think. He wants you to obey. One day they say one thing, one day they say the other. Why don't they just say, we're not exactly sure, but let's say to be safe at this point, we're going to mask up. And just leave it at that. But be humble enough to tell me how much you don't know. I mean, that's the mark of the best educated people I've ever known. First thing they'll tell me is, I don't know most everything. That's first thing they'll tell you, actually, is I really am learning about everything still. Outside that they all did. Because once you begin unlocking one truth, you can see the trillions of others you didn't. And see all the things that you need to be doing that your lifespan won't allow you to do. That creates humility. The more I'm on the air, the more humble I am. Because I see all the things I could have done and I can't do. And that makes me humble. Makes me feel like almost a failure at times because I didn't have enough impact. And it's like with the bureaucrat, what you guys pointed out is they are self-perpetuating. Look at our backward butt school system, 19th century school system. All it was designed to do was herd kids together and give them basic literacy and to be reading and writing arithmetic to take orders. That's all school system. Public education was designed as a feeder mechanism to understand instructions from the top. It would never existed to nurture great things. If great things happen, it happened per chance. It happened because once in a great while, an extremely unusual, committed person slips through the cracks, and maybe a few others do with her or him, and things get done a little bit. And that person usually is shot, shoved into the sideline, gotten rid of. But yeah, you're right about the whole federal bureaucracy. The U.S. Health Department, let's face what the CDC does mostly. It caters to big pharma, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well say that they're in bed so much they need to exchange rings.
Right.
They're married.
Right.
That's one thing. If you understand anything about American healthcare, a marriage occurred. That occurred a long time ago, where we first started marketing drugs after the discovery of penicillin, our first so-called wonder drug, where they're given in World War II penicillin to everybody. VD cases, wounds, they said this is the drug of all drugs. It'll stop this type of non-viral infection, and it worked for a little bit. But that was the beginning of it. And then people said, wow, can we make money off of this stuff? See, in the beginning, I don't even think the establishment realized how much money could be made off of drugs on both ends, whether the underground, the drug laws, or the overground drugs.
Right.
Now
Right. Thank you for your call, Bill.
But I'll tell you what, they keep on pointing out things to give us things to think about.
You know we will.
We try.
And that was the great Bill K, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for your call. We got to move on to the next subject.